Hey y'all, another twofer today. I had to come on and talk about this because somebody just commented on a video that I did, and I get this comment every once in a while, and it really affects me. I just talked about how my parents were just here. I left the Mormon Church many, many years ago. My dad in particular really struggled with my decision. One of the things we talked about the other night in the hot tub, and I mentioned this in a couple of videos ago, was, he got to make a decision. He joined that church on purpose because that's what he wanted to do. I never had that choice. And so when it was my choice, I chose to leave. Somebody commented just on, I think, my last video about how, he thought it was really cool that I had such a close relationship with my dad because his dad basically won't talk to him since he left the church a few years ago. And that breaks my heart for this person and for anybody out there that deals with that. I have been very lucky, very blessed. Like I said, there was a bit of a learning curve there. There was a struggle period with my dad and I. We never lost touch, ever, not once. I call my parents at least once every week. That never stopped, ever. And I've mentioned this before, but I will mention it again because some of you watching this probably haven't seen some of my other videos. The moment, the moment that changed things in our relationship was he called me on a Friday or Saturday night, and I had had a few beers. I wasn't drunk. I'm not some sloppy drunk. But your inhibitions drop a little bit, and sometimes you'll say things when you've had a few drinks that you wouldn't. Sometimes people say nasty things when they've had a few drinks that they shouldn't. And maybe you shouldn't drink if that's how it is for you, if you get mean. I had a friend, luckily he's changed, but when we were young, when he would drink, he would get mean. He'd want to fight, and we would literally get in fist fights. I am not like that. I am a happy dude when I have my drinks. I'm actually having one tonight. It's Wednesday. I don't usually on Wednesday, but I just felt it. Anyway, my dad had called me, and I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 beers. And he kind of got into me pretty heavy, less or more than normal. Normally, he's very congenial about it. He's polite. And he still was polite and kind of respectful, but it was harsher and kind of like you're screwing up your life kind of thing. And, at this point, I had been married for years. I had several kids. I ran a successful business. I had a nice home. I didn't feel like any kind of failure. And I kind of let him have it. And I kind of told him what I just said. You made that choice. You also made that choice for me and my siblings, my brothers and my sister. We didn't have that choice, Dad. You have to understand that this is my life. I get to choose how I want to live my life. And it was a little awkward for a few conversations after that. They live up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, so they're 15 hours away by car. They should actually be getting home any minute now. They left yesterday and drove a few hours, and they're such badasses. They're 83 and 84 years old. But it's not like I see them all the time. We see them once or twice a year, and during COVID, we went 3.5 years, I think, without seeing them because of all the ridiculous regulations and stupid rules, and I won't get into that here. So I cherish my time with them. And luckily, the little bit of awkwardness was only over the phone. But I have known so many people that not only have a strained relationship with their family or their parents or their kids or whoever when they leave the LDS Mormon Church. I don't have experience with leaving other churches, so I can't speak to that. I'm sure it happens with other churches as well. But it makes me so sad because if you get down to the root of what the Mormons believe, and not everybody practices this, but it's to love everybody. to not judge everybody. And I know some of you are going to say, that's not how it is. That's not how it works. Trust me, when I moved to Utah in 1986, I had a rude awakening, especially after I got married and had kids and realized, once I had left the church, how hard it was for kids that lived in a Mormon community that weren't Mormon. I did a video about that a couple of weeks ago. It's rough. I want to get my son on here to talk, one of my sons, to talk about this, because it is brutal. That is not the teaching, though. Whether they practice their teaching or not is up to each individual. I'm sorry, if you have a child, specifically a child that has left the church, a grown adult child, or say late teens, and you disown them because they're not doing what you think they should do, you're a bad parent. Now, if the kid is, on drugs and in and out of jail and committing crimes, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about somebody chooses of their own volition to leave the church, to follow a different path. I still have what I consider a relationship with God. I don't feel like I've lost anything. So this is specifically for somebody who leaves the church, and they're good people. They just don't believe what you believe anymore. And you disown them. That's not what you're taught, man. Or ma'am, man. That's not what you're taught. That's not what the church is about. And again, I know some of you are going to say, yes, it is. That's what they do. I grew up in southern Alberta, Canada, in the Mormon Church, and it wasn't like that there. It was so much less judgy. My wife grew up in Southern California. Same thing. It's something Utah's got to get under control. I love living in Utah. I love it here. I love the mountains and the deserts, and I have so many fantastic friends here. And I like living in a Mormon community. I mean, where I live is a mix, but it's probably more LDS than non-LDS. There's a lot of people like me that are technically LDS but don't go to church. I have a church really close to me. But if you think you're living a Christ-like life and following God's teaching by disowning your child, or any family member for that matter, that left the church because you think it's the wrong decision, I also think you're very egotistical to say that it's my way or the highway, period. If you don't follow the way I believe, you're just wrong and you're a bad person. I want nothing to do with you. It really is heartbreaking. I feel so bad for this dude that wrote the message, because, I talked about how I have this great relationship with my dad. 2 days ago, we went golfing and we went 9 and we decided, this is too much fun. We're going 18. And we talk the whole time like we're buddies. He's 83. He'll be 84 here in a few months. I'm 62. We're like best friends hanging out. And when we have our deep discussions about religion, it's respectful. It can get a little heated. Don't get me wrong. We're not saints. But it never, ever leads to any follow through to that. It's like we get done with the hot tub, we give each other a hug, it's really easy to get emotional about this kind of stuff, because I do feel blessed, because my dad could have gone the other way, but because of the type of human being he is, the type of dad he is, and grandpa and great grandpa, I knew he would come around. I didn't doubt it for a second. And he tells me all the time that he thinks I'm a good man. That means a lot. So for those of you that struggle with that, I wish there was something I could do, because it's awful. It's not how it should be. And the person that wrote me on the last video and expressed those feelings, I hope, I wrote him back and said, I hope he comes around. And I really do. And there's a really good chance they will, because I can't imagine disowning my child. I don't know what they would have to do. You know, if one of my children committed some horrible crime, I would want the law followed. I would want whatever punishment was coming to them to come to them. I don't think I could stop loving them. Luckily, I'm not in that situation, but I've known people that are and have been. I've known people that have lost people really close to them because of lifestyle. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to watch. It's obviously heartbreaking for them. So if you're watching this video and you're a person that is LDS and active, and you've got a child or a brother or, you know, a parent or whatever that leaves the church and they're a good person, please give them the grace that they deserve. The grace that you should be giving them, that Jesus, God, would give them. We're not supposed to judge. And we all do. Of course we do. I'm not naive. I judge people all the time. But when I do, I try to keep it to myself. And I try to think, hey, that's not your place, idiot. Who are you? You know, it's like they say in the Bible, he who's without sin, throw the first stone. Well, I'm not without sin, so I ain't throwing any stones. I think it's not just about that relationship with that father and that son that I was talking about. It's a societal thing. If we lose touch with our families because of some decision they made that you don't agree with, and again, I'm not talking about criminal stuff or drugs or alcohol abuse or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. They just choose a different path than you, and you don't agree with it, and you disown them. I hope you'll rethink your decision. I hope you'll try to put yourself in that position. I think my dad has put himself in my position. I think he realizes, you know, he prayed. He told me his whole story again the other night in the hot tub. And it touches me every time. It's not like it doesn't affect me. He has a very personal, you know, praying to God, asking for an answer because he was looking for something. And he got an answer. I respect that completely. He said to me, do you think I'm lying? And of course I don't believe you're lying. But such a personal thing like that, it's the same as when somebody says to me, well, did Joseph Smith see God and Jesus in that grove? I think it was Illinois, when he was 14 years old. I don't know. How could I possibly know that? I think it's arrogant to say he didn't. You could believe he didn't. I don't know. I just put it down to I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know. You know, there are so many religions in this world. There's so many ways of believing. And I will reiterate it for the 1,000th time. Believe and worship whatever way you want, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Just be nice to people. We live in a neighborhood where almost everybody is pretty nice to each other. We don't know all our neighbors real well. We used to have some neighbors that we were super close to, but they've moved. But we have some that we know fairly well. And everybody here seems to respect each other. When at Christmas, within a few houses of us in each direction, everybody kind of exchanged little gifts, some chocolates or cookies or a loaf of bread or whatever. My wife makes a mean sourdough bread. So she will usually give that out with some oil and vinegar, and it's pretty cool. Spices. I'm making my mouth water. I just realized I haven't eaten. So anyway, I wanted to do a little video on that because this person, I should have read his name, and I don't know if people want me to tag them when they leave a comment. You can go back, I think it's the last video, the one before this one. Today, June 3rd, I think it is today. So this is the second video on June 3rd, so it's the first one. I hope it works out for you, brother. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience with me. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the subscribing. It's really fun. I say it all the time, but I do mean it. Tack för denna gång. Vi snackas igen snart. Thank you for this time. We will talk again soon. Dig y'all. Peace. Love.